Hello everybody and welcome back to another YouTube video. So today, just as a quick addressing of the situation, yes, my environment, I'm in a bit of a different place this time. Kind of weird. Maybe my voice sounds a little bit different. I don't know. I've been talking about, going down to the studio and things like that, and I'm making a studio and stuff like that, and bang, here I am in said little studio. I've also got a new camera. It's a DSLR camera, which is why you can see every goddamn spot in my face. Anyway, let's get into the video. Basically, the video I wanted to do today was talking about what basically is the best pairing weapon you can have with the Rapier, right? The answer really is, well, I mean, there's Blunderbuss now, really, as another option, but FireStaff or Ice Gauntlet, that's sort of what I wanted to go over, because I've been testing, I've been doing a few little things, and I've been finding both the weapons. I've always been a Rapier and FireStaff user. That's what I've done. I've always done that. I've always played that. And the other day, I crafted the Crystalline Curse Ice Gauntlet, and damn, it's a really good weapon, considering you can just craft it and have a 600 straight off the bat, right? So I've been messing around with it. I've been doing, some of the Ice Gauntlet duels and Rapier, and basically I wanted to give my 2 cents, maybe help guide you on what weapon you would prefer. Sorry, my heater just kicked in. It's cold down here and I have no heating. Sorry. Let's get straight into the video. So let's get straight into it. Let's get straight into business. So starting off, let's just talk about, the attributes. Now, there's a few builds that I see when you're doing the Rapier, FireStaff, or Rapier Ice Gauntlet, and usually what people will tend to rock is somewhere in between, like, maybe 50 or 100 decks, 150 cons, 100 cons, and then the rest in intelligence, right? So you're getting a lot more damage out of the Rapier. Me, personally, I prefer to play at that sort of longer range. So having more intelligence benefits me, because I'm getting primarily most of my damage from the actual magical weapon, right? Makes sense. It's only what makes sense. We can talk about gems for a minute, ever so quickly, and whatever I'm saying as well, guys, it's exactly the same for the FireStaff. So all the stats are basically the same. This is personally just what I run. So we've got, for gems, we're rocking full Malachite, which is the 1.9% elemental and 0.63% physical damage. We're running all of that in there, and 1 on the ring, and then 2 onyxes on the E-rings. The only reason I'm not rocking full on, full Malachite is just because I prefer to have that physical resistance, right, near 10%, but what I always struggle against is full mage builds. I don't really ever seem to have a problem with, fighting bruisers or anything like that, or mostly melee players. So it just makes more sense for me to have a bit more elemental resistance rather than physical resistance. So that's the that's the gems. That's the attributes. Let's talk about, like, I should probably talk about the armor as well, right? I always rock medium when I'm doing this. I always like to have medium armor. If a bruiser does get up in your face, you want to be able to somewhat take some of that damage rather than being a bit squishy. A lot of people that roll the Rapier choose light because the roll can get you behind them pretty easily, and then you can get a pretty nasty backstab. My Rapier at the moment, it's shit. It's a bad Rapier. So I don't stress too much about it. I'm gonna get a better one soon. But let's talk about the gear and some of the perks. So one thing that I'm always trying to make sure that I have in my arsenal is Resilient, right? Invigorate and Resilient obviously comes with the Void Bent gear, and arguably you could run then full Void Bent, right? That's a great option because it's giving you really good resistance in those PvP situations, and Invigorate is great for heavy dodge builds. Like any range build, to be honest, is a heavy dodge build. So Invigorate can really help get that stamina back up if you've burnt through it a bit too quickly and you're trying to get out of your expire, right? Your exhaust. So we're rocking Resilient, Invigorate, Resilient, Invigorate, Resilient, 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 and Invigorate. You're seeing a theme here, right? The only difference here is we got the Sundering Riposte. You know, with the FireStaff, you're always running Incinerate with the build, right? So you come off the Riposte and then you do the Incinerate. So having Sundering Riposte is an absolute must-have key thing in this build, because as soon as you successfully riposte them, you're able to reduce the damage absorption of the target. Great. And then so the Incin just hits harder. Now, with my FireStaff, I've got Keen Enchanted, and that's really good, right? Keen Enchanted is something that you want, but it's the ring that I kind of want to talk about. Now, most people, I feel, will talk about having Keen on the ring, which, absolutely right. Keen is a fantastic perk for the ring, especially with the FireStaff, because you can get so many benefits out of critting more, right? Just doing more damage. But here's a theory for you. Here's a thought-provoking thing for you. Now, I suspect when the 3v3s drop, everybody and their grandmothers are going to be rocking, just like me, full Resilient. So that got me thinking, what if we do swap out the Keen and we make sure we have fire damage, right? That way, so on the ring, I got fire damage burning. You deal 4.8% more fire damage. Burning you apply lasts 28% longer. When you're doing the light attacks and you're putting the stacks of burn on and you're genuinely doing more damage all the time, not just critting more and getting yourself more damage via crit, you're just extending your damage for nothing, basically. And so if somebody has a Resilient perk, it ain't gonna matter, right? It ain't gonna matter because you're not critting, right? I mean, you obviously, you will still crit. I still have Keen on the FireStaff. It's just not, you're not going to crit as often, but you're always going to be doing more damage. And I've done the exact same with my Ice Gauntlet as well. I've gone with Refreshing and Ice damage for the other ring because I just think it makes sense. I think everybody's going to be rocking Resilient, and so I think there's going to be more benefit out of it. So as far as the jewelry is concerned as well, you know, Adored Logging Luck, not a great perk, but it doesn't matter. You know, we want the health and we want refreshing. Refreshing is going to be a key thing here. So we got health and refreshing, we got refreshing and ice damage, and we got refreshing and regenerating. It makes sense. You know, you're able to, not to mention I've got refreshing move on the actual crystalline curse on the Ice Gauntlet to really speed up those cooldowns, you know, and get yourself, you know, the rings are going to really help since they brought out the patch where it was just nerfing the Rapier and increasing the cooldowns of Riposte and Evade and, you know, Flash or Flashe or whatever you want to call it. It makes sense to have that option and really speed up those cooldowns in those really fast, you know, situations, right? So that's it, guys. That's sort of what the armor looks like. Again, the only thing I'm doing when I'm swapping out these builds is I'm swapping the ring and I'm swapping the FireStaff. Everything else I'm keeping the exact same. Everything is staying the exact same. And now let's talk about sort of, you know, the sort of difference that you're going to get. I'm going to try and have some duels going up here of both the FireStaff and the Rapier and the Ice Gauntlet and the Rapier. But I'm just going to try and, you know, talk some general chit-chat whilst I'm going. I'll try and overlay it so you don't see my cam too much, but you'll just see the gameplay. So basically, you know, there is a fundamental pretty big difference between, obviously, the Ice Gauntlet and the FireStaff. Obviously. They're two very different styles of gameplay. In a 1v1 situation, maybe I'd argue the FireStaff was a little bit better. Only because, you know, the ticking, more damage in general, more options, more speed, versatility, mobility, which is absolutely key in 1v1s. You know, when you can Flashe and then turn around and then, you know, bring out the old bring out the old FireStaff, and then you're burning out, and then you're going that way, and then they've got to run back at you. You know, I did a stream the other day, and the dude was incredibly salty and just quit instantly because I was just kiting around too much. And that is the strength of this build. Now, when the developers talked about the 3v3 PvP that was going to be that was announced and is coming into the game, they talked about the fact that the way it'll work is that the arena will start. It'll be 3v3, 5 games, best of 3. You start in, you know, what I can only assume is sort of a WoW-sized arena, and then a ring of fire will start and will slowly bring your team together. Now, if you're doing FireStaff and Rapier, then I see there being a problem with the kiting tactic, right? As you're forced slowly more and more together, you're going to be wanting a lot less kiting ability and a lot more control, right? You're going to want to be able to make sure that you can keep the target where they are, maybe split opponents if you're in a 2v1, freezing those ones, and that, I think, is where the Ice Gauntlet is going to shine, and I think it's going to shine really well. So that's something to take in mind. Now, 1v1s, and now I'm just spitballing here, of course, right? I don't know, but again, if I was to take a guess, and if I was to, you know, suspect it, FireStaffs are going to be, you're going to be wanting to hope to end the game pretty quickly, right? You're not going to want to be close up with a Bruiser, with a FireStaff and a Rapier. You know, you can obviously do a few, you have defensive abilities, you've got your Aposh, you can go into Insin. You know, I don't know how close that fire ring is going to come, right? But what I do know is that there's no way that Ice Gauntlet, in that very close proximity, that Ice Gauntlet isn't going to shine. You know, in tome for your defensive ability, you know, your Ice Storm, your Ice Shower, put them up, spread them. You know, maybe you're running an Ice Spike build, maybe get rid of Entomb and run Ice Spike. I think the control is going to be really, really good, being able to really hold down a person. I think that's going to be key. And so that basically, guys, is my thought process on it all. That's really going to be the difference between FireStaff and Ice Gauntlet. You know, really, it boils down to, do you want to control your opponent? Do you want to split them, segregate them, stun them? Or are you looking to kite them, dot them, burn them, get away, let the dots do the damage, you know, put on pressure that way? You can do, obviously, absolutely insane damage with the Incinerate. But you know what? I can say the exact same about Ice Spike right now. Ice Spike is deadly. Really, really deadly. So, guys, that's going to wrap up the video. Let me know in the comments what you choose to pair with your Rapier. Is it Ice Gauntlet or is it FireStaff? What will you be doing in your 3v3s? I cannot wait to see, and I can't wait for the 3v3s to rock and roll. Everybody, thank you so much for watching the video. I will see you in the next one. Hwyl fawr for now.